Well, greetings and happy Friday to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this Friday. It is a interesting time we live in and looking forward to a wonderful conversation today with Lisa Medley. We are excited about having Lisa here, really talking today about this concept of befriending fear and embodying love. And with that, I will give a few moments, just kind of do a real reflection. It is a little after 1 o'clock, and always one of the favorite things to do is kind of remind you, for those of you who were on our last call on last week with Lana Saul, one of the things that we had discussed was this idea of the fear zone. And it is such a great area of talking about it. Fear zone, learning zone, growth zone. And last time that we were together, we did have some wonderful conversations with regards to these zones. And we asked the polling question of what zone are you in today? And so when you take a quick look at this, I'm going to launch a poll. And I would love for as many people as possible to go ahead and put themselves into what zone they are. Are they primarily in the growth zone, half growth, half learning, fear zone, learning zone, et cetera, et cetera? Now, as everybody recalls who was on this call the last time, I think I was able to show you the, the results, and hopefully we will be able to do so again today. I'm going to give it a few more seconds and then we will open it up. Right now, about 36% are saying they're in the learning zone. 33% are half growth, half learning, 33%. Next highest is primarily growth zone. Half learning, half fear, 9%, and fear zone was 1%. So one of the things that was great to see is when you look at what we're talking about, again, and hopefully y'all can see it. Lisa, can you see that just fine?
I
Good.
can, yeah.
Always use Lisa as my way to make that conversation happen. I remember last week's, we definitely had quite a few more people in the fear zone, a lot more people in the learning and half learning, half fear zone. So I think there is definitely a little positivity that's going along with what's going on here. And I think this is great because as we're starting to kind of look at this embodying fear and embracing love, I think this was such a good way to kind of get things started off. And again, as we were talking about, and hopefully for some of you who listened to my audio before, I think you guys finally figured out I'm a little bit of a Beatles fan. But it is such a great story and a great conversation and a great start to what we can be looking at here. All we do need is love, and love is all we need. And I'm hopefully not getting trademarked or copyrighted by any of these folks right now. Since I did go after Disney and the Beatles, and boy, I tell you what, I couldn't have gotten any bigger as far as names are concerned. So, hopefully Mickey and Paul and Ringo are going to be okay with everything that we're doing here. It is my pleasure, though, today to introduce you to Lisa Medley. Lisa has been one of the most important people that I have gotten to know over the last year and a half. Really is truly the embodiment of what NWI is all about. And I just cannot say enough great things about her and the contributions that she has given me in just, like I said, this last year and a half that I've been here, but for the many years that the organization has been around. And I got to admit, when I was doing a little bit of a piece here, I grabbed this quote from you, Lisa, because I thought it was one of the best quotes that we could absolutely start the day off with is, as we create more love in the body, we create more love in the world. And how much better can that be? So, Lisa, how did that, I mean, that's a great quote. And this is such your background. Kind of talk to me about how this quote ultimately kind of came to pass with you.
Yes, thanks, Chuck. Thanks for that warm welcome and introduction. So it's related to some of my background too. I started becoming a massage therapist over 20 years ago. I found my massage school in the Yellow Pages. Remember that?
You're showing your age, Lisa. You're showing your age. The original Google search.
Yeah, right. So the concept of just feeling and embodying all of who we be is really just how it works. You know, we're not mechanical, we're not machine, you know, contrary to popular belief. We're energetic, we're vibrational, and we put out a vibe. I mean, if you just want to call like vibe, we all know this. When somebody comes in the room and they have a certain vibe, we feel that. We're beaming that out all the time. So the more that we can create love and really practice it, it's a practice, it's a practice, it's a practice, that we can be experiencing that vibe, if you will. And then obviously just walking out the door, interacting with our family, whoever's under the roof via Zoom even, you know, all of that can just be expressed with that kind of alignment of who we really are, as much as we can. It's not about perfection, it's about practicing.
About practicing. Lisa, that is such a great way of kind of looking at it. I mean, there's such a need to kind of think about it from that practical perspective. We think that, again, love is just something that it happens, but it really is something we have to practice in so many ways. Kind of talk to me about some of the ways that you've taught people how to practice love.
Yes. So we'll get there a little bit also. I mean, I would like to give a couple of experiences to bring it out of
Perfect.
construct and to respond. There is the, you know, the constructs, right, of you know, love is all there is, and these beautiful words and ideals and importance. And it does take a practice. And because I'm very body centered, that, you know, I know that if my body is in a state of stress and tension, and even if I'm just saying wonderful things, but if I'm not feeling it, there's a disconnect. I feel out of alignment. I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. So experiencing that sense of ease in body, in heart, in thought just makes it easier. And that's really some of what I want to touch on today. And, you know, the title about befriend love and, befriend fear and embody love. It's a both and. It's not one or the other. I'm so not coming from the place of, oh, love and light and rainbows and unicorns, and we'll just ignore kind of what's going on right now. That's not where I'm coming from at all. It's about how to just practice that state of ease and relaxation and restoration. So when we are faced with what we're faced with, it's easier. It's easier to navigate. It's easier to just give ourselves a break and cut ourselves some slack. And when we cut ourselves some slack, we can cut other people some slack and just bring more compassion to ourselves and others, which is what we need.
Absolutely. So I'll just say it this way, Lisa, without being kind of too crass in it, basically the slide that I've got up kind of explains it, but teach us how to be rad.
I know. So this literally just came to me while I was eating dinner like 2 nights ago. I was like, how do I want to frame this? And it just dropped in, which is kind of how it happens for me sometimes. So rad, you know, it's kind of fun. I know how much humor is important for you and really appreciate that about you. And, you know, and also just radical, you know, we can kind of look at it from there. So because so many of you have been sitting for, oh, I don't know, about a month straight now, or maybe more.
The
I'd like
73rd
to,
Monday of April.
right, right. So as I walk you through this, I also am going to invite you to stand up and literally move through this. And I'll, you know, it's very simple, you know, if like nobody's watching you really. So, you know, and if you just want to listen and take it in and practice this later, that's totally fine. Whatever's comfortable for you.
Do I have to put my rally cap on?
You can do whatever you
All
want.
right, let's roll.
All right,
Let's go.
let's go. Let's go. Let's be rad. So the concept of first befriend fear is, again, I'm not, you know, standing on a mountaintop just espousing love, and I mean it is all there is, and we do need to honor our, what I like to call our divine humanity, you know, our human experience within a bigger context, you know, whatever that means for you. And so obviously right now, I mean, fear is rampant and it has a place. It has a place, of course it does. And there's a place where it is becoming so toxic and, you know, depressing our immune system and ability to think clearly and, you know, all of that. So it's honoring that it has a place. And then these are just some ideas to navigate for yourself and those that you work with, of just how to befriend it and not how to have it not be like a tsunami that you live under all the time, because it's really easy to do that.
It really is. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'll just say, just as a introduction also, is, you know, practicing massage and body work in the body. I'm a body geek. I think the body is the most amazing design, and that I'm also very sensitive. I have a highly sensitive nervous system. I'm an empath. So that means that I just pick up a lot of energy, a lot of stuff. So I've been practicing this for quite a while out of first just sanity and just surviving, and just like, how can I be of service, be my best self? You know, that's what we're all here for, you know, in the wellness world, and supporting others to be that and be able to thrive and not, what I sometimes refer to jokingly, like, get locked up, you know, like, just to really navigate this world. So I have a lot of practice with this, and I'm always practicing. Every day I'm practicing too, every day. So let's start. The first step is to recognize a continuum of states of being. So and you can see on the ladder here on the side, there's a continuum. And if you wish to stand up now, if you're comfortable, and just and if you're not able to stand, you know, depending on where you are, you can just imagine the space between your feet as like a smaller ladder. And while you're there, just take a moment to shake your body out or do some stretches, or we're all wanting to do this, of course. Yes, let's get up. Thanks, Lana. Yes. Okay, awesome. And then just take just a little step back. See a ladder on the floor, either to the side or front and back, however you want to do it, depending on your space. I need to go right and left where I am. And find a point of the ladder. Just identify, okay, this is the fear. This is the lower rung of the ladder. And then just take a couple of steps. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 7, you know, just depending on the space that you have, and make your way over to the other end of the ladder, which we're calling the love, the higher states of being, the what feels more good, okay? And then just walk back and forth, just step on these rungs, and just notice that there is a continuum. These are different states of being. These are different choices we always have. And it's not denying one or the other. It's just embracing that this is part of our experience. And breathe.
Oh, breathing. I forgot that part,
I
Lisa.
know.
Thanks.
Learning something new and then breathing at the same time is a radical act, for sure.
Just remember, I'm a guy, therefore I can only do one thing at a time.
You know what? I'm a mom. Well, I know you're a dad too, but I say that to my son all the time. Mommy can only do one thing at a time.
Well, and hey, looks like Langhouse says my cat joined me on my ladder, so that's awesome. Way to go, Lang.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So my question is, for you, you know, feel free to share this in the chat, is what helps you recognize that there is a continuum, that we do have choices of being. Okay, so this today is really about being, not necessarily about doing. How you're feeling, how you're being, what helps you remember when you're in a certain emotional state or physical state that
Past experience.
I don't have to stay here.
Body scan. I'm just throwing some things out there that are pausing and thinking about it. I love that. Journaling. I started dancing when I got to the top of the ladder.
Me
you know
too.
What? The peak. Yes. We got to celebrate the peak. Oh, Billy with the dance. I don't know what that's called. My daughter's old enough. We don't remember the little. I love that though, Billy. Haley with self-reflection. Love it.
Oh, the floss. Oh yeah, I know how to do that too. My son's friend taught me how to do that.
It ain't pretty if I did it.
I'll teach you later.
Sure. Like I said, I think if anybody has read our newsletter this week yet, if you read my piece, there's a section that I was talking about how um, there is a TikTok dance that I did with my daughter choreographed, and it's going to take 600 new members for me to even think about submitting that thing out there. Because let me tell you something. Let's just say there was a lot of laughter going on.
Fantastic. I think that's a very good dare.
You gotta love it. Oh,
Awesome.
Dana,
These are
I think
wonderful.
not only recognizing being in self, but in others, such as when you notice coworkers having a difficult time with PTSD and being that listener, needing that at that moment. Great comment. Love it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Wonderful. These are great.
I
Yeah,
try
so
my kids laugh.
experience. Yeah.
Anything that we can do to make our kids laugh, that's kind of half my job. I've always said, my poor daughter, my biggest responsibility right now is absolutely to embarrass her as much as I possibly can.
Well, that is going to get some laughter for sure.
In fact, last year for her prom picture with her date, I took a picture of it. It was a T-shirt that she made me when I was in when she was like 4 or 5 years old, and it had her handprints and it said "Hands off Emma's dad." And I actually got a picture with her date with that shirt. It was beautiful. Great kid, great young man.
Wonderful.
Laughter
Wonderful.
kicks in the endorphins. Yes, Lana, you are right.
Yes. Yes. Even my face feels better just smiling and being with you all. And yeah, just hearing these reminders. So, yeah, there's a continuum. So, really, really important to recognize that and remember that, when ourself, I know sometimes when I'm in the middle of it, I have no awareness that there is anything else. That, of course, that happens. And then when the intensity lessens a little bit, or I'm getting support, or I'm grabbing a tool from my toolbox, and then I can remember the bigger picture. I can remember that there's another place on the continuum to go. And this is also a model that I know many of you use, that it's meeting people where they are, right? So, and depending on the day, I mean, for those of us wellness professionals, I've had enough conversations with other wellness professionals that, sometimes we're like the wounded healer, we're teaching what we want to learn. We're not perfect, even though we know a lot of stuff. It doesn't necessarily, we're still in our own process of integrating it and embodying that. So just where people are on the ladder. And again, if you're on the bottom rung or not even on the ladder, then you just start where you are, for yourself first. And then just depending on where people are, just meeting them where they are. And then as we support them, we support ourselves, what's one rung up, or maybe even a half a rung, or maybe even just imagining reaching to the next rung, even if you just don't have the energy to actually get there that moment or that day. Just full permission to just be where you are and honor your experience.
Can we go to the next slide there, Lisa? Or are you
Well,
still on
actually,
this?
I'm just going to walk through this slide. So let me bring to the next one is awareness. So remembering the continuum, and then just awareness of your current experience. So for today, just where are you on the ladder? You can just say, lower rung, mid rung, upper rung. Just check in with yourself, like, and how you're feeling in your body. What is your level of ease, dis-ease, stress, tension, your emotional being? Not what you should be, or you think you should be, or you would really like to be. Just honoring, just where are you really at in this moment? Because we're transformational. We can always shift. Mm-hmm. So I'm just seeing the
It's got a
comments.
few that are mid, a few to the top, a couple of three rings, three rung from the bottom, mid to up, top, second rung from the top. A lot of mids, a lot of tops, few of them that are at the lower end of it as well. And I think that kind of coincides with the survey we did just earlier. Makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Yes. And I saw a couple comments come through it, it depends on the minute, it depends on the moment, or I go
Yep.
up and down. So really, really important to reinforce that it can be minute by minute. It depends on, did we remember to actually, click off the news or, whatever we're exposed to. And, I had a experience the other day, I won't go deeply into it, of just, I like went through the whole range of human emotion in like 2 minutes. And that's part of the compassion for ourselves and the planet, is just to honor where we are and remembering that we're shapeshifters. We can always shift with our tools, with practices, with the Institute to support us, and other things that we have in our life. So just awareness is power, right? So then the last one of D, of RAD, is to discern your source of fear. I actually watched one of the previous conversations with Lana. So if you haven't looked at that, she's got a really very informative chunk of just like how the brain works, and that, well, I won't, nope, you just watch it. She did a really good job of explaining, fear and our sources of fear, and, the real fear, the perceived fear. And that this is another moment to just, literally step back, or, depending on where you are on the rung, on the ladder, if you or people that you work with is in fear, is in a lower aspect of their experience of, fear or anxiety, honoring that. And then what are they thinking about? What are they feeling? Like, what is the source? Is it a saber-toothed tiger? Or is it just a kitten? Is it something that you're in a life-threatening situation in that moment, even outside of what's happening right now? Just, we all know when we're driving down the highway or the road and there's a distracted driver, and, we have to just engage our sympathetic nervous system and our fight or flight and all of that. Like, that's really, really good to have. And even right now, there are moments where that fear might get kicked in, and it's discerning, like, oh, what is it that I'm scared of? Oh, I just got back from the grocery store and I forgot to wash my hands. That's really, really good information. That's, part of our body wisdom. That's part of that innate intelligence that's going ding, 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 ding. Listen to me, listen to me. And then there's the moments where we're so far in the past, or we're so far in the future, or the what if this, or the what if that, which of course is so common right now. Our expectations are like, there's nothing to really hold on to right now. So acknowledging like, I'm scared of, well, we could spend the whole rest of the time with that, but we do that enough already. But just, yeah, cognitive dissonance. I love that, that just that disconnect. So really being aware.
Or even something like DK here was fear of sleepwalk.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because parents are high risk. Yes,
Yep.
of course.
Type 1 diabetics. Yeah, fear
yes.
there.
Yes.
Parents are high risk. Pal, that's exactly where I'm at. My parents are 80 and 82 years old. My mom, they're both cancer survivors, high risk folks.
Absolutely. And those are all normal, natural, emotional, physiological realities of what is like, this is real. This is real. And we have the power to choose our state of being. We have the power to just remember that and practice that, right? And then it makes it easier to navigate. And then when we are freaking out, again, just referring back to, Lana's conversation the other day, and I've heard this from other places, of just devoting a period of time where you freak out. You write down what you're scared of, you talk to somebody who will listen and not judge you or try to fix you or problem solve. You just, acknowledge that. It's super important, right? Befriending that very natural human reaction to what's happening. And then what's the next rung on the ladder? Where's another state I can be in? So from, as I said, of being a body geek, our physiology isn't depleted so much, because we're, I've been hearing, different metaphors about running and, sprint. We're not on a sprint, we're on a marathon. I also heard a new perspective about a relay. And that, you know, we have those moments where we're just driving hard and we're running hard and we're just like, okay, I just got to get through this. I got to get to the grocery store and back, or I got to, you know, whatever we have to tend to. And then we just hand it off, either figuratively, you know, or in reality. And we just take a moment to recover and to recover and to, you know, embody love, or at least somewhere on that ladder rung, so that we can recover, because we won't make it. I mean, even without a pandemic, I mean, our culture is so chronically stressed out, clearly, that it's, I think that's part of the healing opportunity here, is just to remember and come back to our nature, so we can restore ourselves and we can have the experience of this, you know, relay. So play with that, try that on. It's just another way to kind of think about it. Or the marathon with like the water breaks that they have, and you just hang out at that water break for a while. You know, you don't just keep sipping and then running. You just give yourself some pauses and some restoration.
So you're not pouring it over your head is really what you're saying. That's probably not a good idea.
Well, you know what? If that would help you feel better in that
You know
moment,
what?
by
Good
all means.
point. Good point. If you're a little warm, maybe a little hot, and you're okay with it, and you're okay cleaning up the mess, Lana, you just took a drink of water. I think that's kind of ironic there, by the way. But yeah, those are the things that I love what you're saying here, Lisa, because it's such an important thing. You know, it goes back to everything we're talking about. One size doesn't fit all. One size fits one. It's really whatever works for you. And for some people, I will tell you, especially maybe my daughter who's 18, my humor probably doesn't really inspire her a whole lot. But I'm a dad joke kind of guy, so you know, poor thing.
And I'm sure it's helping you in the moment
Oh
by
my
being
God, yeah, I'm
funny,
having a
right?
ball. I'm a legend in my own mind. What do you mean?
We all aspire for that. Yeah, so, and thank you for bringing that up, and then we can move to the next slide.
Sounds good.
Is and this is my passion and my fascination and my devotion to connecting people with their body and their body wisdom, because it doesn't lie, and it'll tell you exactly where you're at and what you need, and to trust those instincts and trust those impulses. So one size doesn't fit all. I mean, I have a really big toolbox, and you know, I like choices. So it depends on the day, it depends on how much sleep I got the night before, it depends on lots of things for all of us, right? Because we're energetic, we're transformational, we're vibrational. It depends on where our vibe is. So of course we're going to need different things. So there's so much expertise and modalities and resources, especially right now. There is so many resources. I mean, just this website, the National Wellness Institute website in of itself, and there's so much. And then it's also just coming back to, how am I feeling and what do I need? How am I feeling and what do I need in this moment, right? Wonderful. So this next and final slide, this is probably the shortest presentation I've ever done.
No, we're going about the same as we usually go, and I've got a few slides after this one, so we're good.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So I just want to touch on this, and then I just also want to give you another brief guided experience. So we're, you know, looking at a RAD approach to befriending fear, and then looking to love, right? And again, there's a continuum. And I'm using this as a spiral, an upward evolving spiral. This is really how I see evolution and growth, because nothing is straight. There's no straight lines, really. Certainly in our body, there's no linear lines in our body, and in nature, everything has a spiral and moves and has a rhythm. That's who we really are. So with this sense of love, and again, you can, sometimes we're in that state, sometimes we're in joy, bliss, ease, grace, ecstasy, aliveness, transcendence. Other times it may be appreciation, it may be contentment, it may be just, okay, all is well in this moment. So there's a whole range, there's just a range, right? And just pointing to, you know, why we're in, you know, wellness is supporting people to, you know, be more positive, operate from this higher, more expansive state of being. And again, without ignoring all the other states of being that we have, that we're naturally designed for. And the more that we can embody love and or embody a more expansive lightness of being, literally just lightness of being, it's just easier. It's easier for ourselves. It's easier on our body. It's easier on our immune system. It's easier on the people around us. It just makes it easier. And then it's a practice. It's a practice. So what I'd like to guide you, wherever you are, sitting, standing, certainly if you have more sitting to do for the rest of the day, I invite you to just take this opportunity to stay standing if you'd like. And just take a breath and just settle back into becoming aware of your body in space, on the chair, on the earth, standing, whatever feels right for you. And just tune into your breath. Just notice your breath. Don't have to change it, fix it, judge it. Just notice it. And then if you like to just place one hand on your heart or both hands, or one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, whatever feels right for you. Just trust your instincts. And just give some support to your body, to your heart, to your gut. And just feeling that connection that you are supporting yourself. So much of what this opportunity is about is more responsibility, really honoring our ability to respond and how powerful we are. And even within all of what's happening, so much that we have the power and the ability to cultivate and create more of a loving presence, more of an easeful presence within our container, within the sacred vessel, within our vibe. And it's not all mental. That's an aspect of it. And we also have to feel. We have to feel and be. So just bring in a moment, a favorite moment, maybe from today or recently, or something funny that you've seen, or a memory, or something that you love, or appreciate, or feel comforted by. It just feels easeful. And breathe. And just bring that in to your heart space, to your belly. Relax your joints. Soften your shoulders, your eyes. This is practice. This is practicing embodying love. And if it's not love in this moment, that's okay. Maybe it's just a little bit better than an hour ago. Maybe a little bit more space, spaciousness. And wherever you are with that love, that appreciation, that ease, just consciously breathe that in and just imagine that feeling, that sensation just rippling out into your 50 trillion cells, 50 trillion cells of your body. And let's just imagine that radiating out around you to this bubble around you. And then extending that feeling, that vibe beyond your bubble into the room, the building you're in, into your neighborhood, into your state, country, globe, planet, universe, and keep going. And then with that awareness of connection and interconnectedness that starts with each other, starts with you, just bring your awareness back to your space, your vessel, on the earth, safe in this moment. Taking a breath. And then as you're ready, just softly open your eyes and just become aware of the here and now. Great. So that's a practice of embodying love. Thank you.
That was awesome, Lisa. Thank you so much. That was great. And again, I greatly appreciate everybody. And I always laugh because one of the things I always try to find is a meme or two. Again, this is me. This is Chuck the Humor coming through. So, you know, here's what I was laughing at. And again, as we were having people coming on earlier, you know, we get people coming on about 10 or 15 minutes before we even get started. And all I could think about was this little quote and this little reflection of what's going on. And I am definitely going to try to find a picture of either my dog. I love the fish picture, but without a doubt, I think this is definitely something that we're going to have to try to put together a whole lot more going down the road. So I'm seeing some wonderful thank yous from everybody as far as what you've just put us through, Lisa, and I cannot say that enough myself. Everybody, I'm hoping you are enjoying these gatherings. We're trying to keep them very easy, very fun. I was laughing. Lana and I were, after we were talking about last week, and I'm finding myself, Lisa, I think you were doing the same thing. You just start getting into that chat feature, and it's just kind of fun to watch everybody's reactions and comments. So occasionally, if you just kind of see sitting there going like this, it's because I'm reading, because these are some of the best things that I've ever seen. So with that, count on one for next week. I look forward to having everybody on that one. Enjoy your weekend. And on the 131st Monday coming up here of April, just remember that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and things are starting to progress in the forward direction. But it's going to be wellness that is ultimately going to take us out of pandemic and into vitality. So let's keep that in mind. And with that, everybody have a spectacular weekend.